Hello everyone, in this video I will show you how to upload any type of information into your vector database so you can use them in your RAG agents. In this video we are going to use three tools. First of all, we are going to test LlamaParse, then we are going to test Docling, then we're going to test Mistral. So you might ask yourself, why are we testing these three options when we can just upload our information into initn and then upload it to our vector database? Well, the answer is when we are using, let's say, initn's innate features, those just upload and extract these texts from our documents into our vector database, but they do not understand these figures. They do not understand the structure of the text, and via this process we lose a lot of useful information. So it's much better, and you will get a way better results if you just use any of these three solutions. Okay, and basically we are going to upload our files into these OCR services, and these OCR services have their own AI models, their own AI tools that gonna go through your documents, and they're going to extract the information to make sure we're getting the most we can get, and we are saving important context. And from there, it's just very normal RAG system. The first thing we want to use is LlamaCloud. LlamaCloud has paid options, but you can also use their free option, and their free option provides you with 10,000 free credits. And once you're on their website, go to parse, and once you're here you can choose between different solutions. We have the cost-effective solution, we have the agentic, we have the agentic plus, and I would recommend going for agentic because the cost-effective solution doesn't work well for many of document types, right? So just go for agentic, and then once you have chosen your desired tool, then just click on this and you can just upload your information. In this case, I'm just uploading a small PDF file, and click on parse, and then it's gonna parse your information. Okay, so we have the information. It was really quick, and as you can see, we don't have much information because the document I uploaded was very small, but compared to many other solutions, especially initn's innate solutions, this is way more accurate. And let's go to initn and see how we can do this through initn. So first things first, we need to have a manual trigger. So I'm just going to add the manual trigger, and then we want to have a way to get the document into our initn. So I'm just going to use HTTP request, and here we are using a get method. And basically here I want to provide a link to a Supabase document. So basically I uploaded the same document into Supabase, and then I'm just gonna add it here so I can download it into my initn. And basically you can use any PDF that is online. For my case, I'm just using whatever I uploaded to Supabase. So once I do that, I'm just gonna run this, and as you can see, the data is right here. So I'm also gonna pin this information so we do not need to run this all the time. And second, we need to send this information into our LlamaCloud. So I'm gonna use HTTP request, and here we need to provide a curl information. So I'm just gonna click on this, and if we go to the following website, which is the LlamaCloud's documentation, and if we go to the upload file section, we can just paste the curl information into our initn. And once we do that, we can see that much of our information are just automatically updated, but we need to change something, right? So first of all, we need to delete this section, and then we need to come up with an authentication. And for the authentication, I'm just going to click on generic, and then I'm going to choose header authentication. And for my header authentication, I'm going to create a new credential. And here, if I go back to my documentation, you can see that the name of my header authentication should be authorization. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to come to my NHN. I'm just gonna paste it, and the value should be basically, if we go back to our Llama Cloud, should be bearer plus our API token. So I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna paste this, I'm gonna go to expression, and now we need to add our API key here. And in order to get your API key, you can just click on API keys and you can create a new API key, and I'm just not gonna name it. So just create your API key, copy it, and paste it here. Click on save, and we are good. We are connected. So next thing, we need to make some changes here as well. Basically, we wanna tell initn where to get the data. So I'm just gonna say initn binary file, and the name should be file, and also the name of the file, the exact name is data. So I'm just gonna put it here, and we need to add some more parameters. Basically, I'm just gonna click on add parameter, and as you remember, we just uploaded some documents and we just parsed some documents and we liked it, right? So if we click here, we can get the settings for whatever we used right now. So we're gonna get the same good results. And so first things first, we wanna get the model. So just copy this, go back to initn and paste. Do the same for the exact model name. And basically, I'm just making sure that we are using the same settings, because we are not using the platform anymore. We are using initn, and initn should let Llama Cloud know which exact basically settings we want to use. And basically, I'm just going through the settings from Llama Cloud, and I'm just gonna pasting them here, and these are all true. So I'm just gonna quickly input this information, and here we have outlined table extraction. That's true as well. So just go through all these, and if you want to change any of these, go ahead, but I would say the default settings work well for the majority of the tasks, and HTML1 might be not the best choice for everyone, but it's good for us. So I'm just gonna say true, and let's go through all of our settings to make sure we have everything we need. And once we have done that, we can just run this. And as you can see, it says the status is pending, which means it's basically extracting the information. But since we are using initn workflow, we want to know when exactly the process is finished. So I'm just going to click on this plus sign, and I'm just going to find the wait module. So I'm just going to click on it, and we want to wait for around, let's say, 10 seconds. And after 10 seconds, we basically want to check whether the status is still pending. And in order to do that, I'm going to use a switch, and we need to come up with some conditions. And in order to do that, let me actually pin this information so we don't lose it. In order to do that, we need to run the wait step, and basically I want to make sure whether the status is still pending or whether it's a success. So if this status is pending, so it's still pending, then we want to provide the output and say it's still pending. But if it's a success, and I know it should be success, because if we go back to our Llama Cloud's documentation, we can see that at the end we can either get pending, success, error, or blah blah blah. So the next thing we are interested in is basically success. So I'm gonna get this, and I'm just gonna paste it here, and that's our second value. So if it's true, it's gonna say success, and I'm gonna move this up here. So first success, then pending. And basically, if it's still pending, we want to wait for maybe 5 more seconds. We wait for 5 more seconds, and then basically we wanna check it again to see whether we have made any progress. And in order to do that, we are gonna go to Llama Cloud, and here I'm gonna use the following information: get job parsing details, and here I'm gonna get this get information. Okay, I'm gonna get this get link. I'm just gonna paste it here, and basically we need to change this job ID with our own job ID. Okay, so let me run this step. Okay, and let me run this step as well. Basically I want to get the job ID to show up in my latest module, so I can basically switch it with whatever we have at the moment. And so if we get this ID, and if we, let me add more space and just drop the ID here. Okay, you can actually delete these details. We do not need the details. Okay, so just add the job ID here, and now we should be good. We need to provide the authentication. Okay, and the authentication is the same exact authentication we came up with earlier. So it's a third authentication I have, but it might be different for you. And then once we have done that, we basically want to fit this result into the switch again to make sure whether we are pending or whether we are successful. And if we are successful, we basically want to upload the doc information into our Supabase. So I'm going to use HTTP request, and here I want to go back to my Llama Cloud, and I'm gonna come here, and basically I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna copy this get information, right? This get, I would maybe say link and URL. So I'm gonna paste it here, and now we need to change this job ID with this job ID, similar to what we did earlier. Okay, so I'm just gonna open this so we can drop our ID in here. Okay, it did not go where I wanted to go, so I'm just gonna cut this and I'm gonna paste it here, and make sure we remove all the extra space, and perfect. So we want to provide the same authentication we did earlier, so header authentication, and I'm gonna use the same account, everything, and now we should be good. So let me actually run this thing to make sure whether we have the document. And as you can see, it's running the previous nodes, and right now we have the information. So this is the exact document we are working on, so we are good. The last step is uploading this information into Supabase. So I'm just gonna search for Supabase vector store, and here I'm gonna click on add document to vector store. I've already have connected my Supabase account, but if you haven't done that, you can basically watch my previous video on it. But I have created a list called documents, and I want to upload this to that document, and everything else looks fine to me. And we need to provide an embedding model, and I'm just going to use OpenAI embedding model. 3 small model works, and we want to use a document uploader, and we can just use the default one. And basically if we go to my Supabase, I have a table called documents, and as you can see right now I have 8 rows, and basically if I upload this one, I'm gonna have 12 rows. Okay, so let me run this entire workflow once more. So we are waiting for 10 seconds, then we are gonna go through the switch, whether it's a success or pending, and then if it's pending, it's gonna wait then it's gonna go through the Supabase vector store and it's gonna upload the information. So if I go to my Supabase and if I refresh this, you can see that I have 12 rows and all of my information are now embedded in my vector store. So the second step in any RAG system is adding the retrieval section. So I'm just gonna look for the check trigger. I'm gonna add it here and I'm gonna connect it to an AI agent. Pretty similar to what we have been doing all this time. So I'm just gonna say system message, so answer all the questions using the Supabase vector store tool you have access to. Okay, and I know I have some spelling errors, but that's okay. The AI doesn't care. And I'm gonna add a memory, a simple memory, and then for the tool I'm gonna use Supabase vector store, and basically we want to connect it to the same account we connected before. So work with data in your vector store, and for the file I'm just going to use the documents file, and also we want to provide it with an embedding model. As I always say, it should be the same embedding model used to basically upload the information, and now we should be good to go. So let me ask a question. What is the first step in leveling? And for your information, my document is about how to install your washing machine, and leveling is how you connect it to your wall, I guess. And it's going through the Supabase and the ChatGPT to provide the information, and yeah, it's pretty decent. As you can see, it's very comprehensive given how small the document we provided was. So now that we have covered Llama Cloud, the next step is covering Docling. So Docling is also very powerful, but if you want to use Docling, you need to deploy it yourself. So basically Docling has provided us with this GitHub, and we can use the information in GitHub to deploy it. Okay, and in order to do that we need to use render, and I use render all the time. I have used render in my previous videos. It's very easy to use, so just go to render.com and sign into render, and once you're on render, just click on this add new. Okay, wherever you are on render, just find add new and basically click on web service, and once you do that, click on existing image, and you can find the existing image from the GitHub page, but I have already extracted the information, so we can basically use this address here, and you can use the same address, just copy whatever I am doing right now. And so I'm just gonna paste this information here, and by the way, all these documents are in my basically Discord channel, so if you wanna just copy and paste, go to my Discord channel. And for this case we cannot use the free version because Docling is very resource intensive, so we want to use the standard solution. And I know it's $25 per month, but you're not gonna pay anywhere close to $25 per month, because you don't actually pay $25 per month. You pay $25 per month if you use the tool for a complete month. So if your web page you have deployed is active for 30 days without being like inactive, so if you activate it for just 1 hour, you're gonna pay for less than $1. So you can basically provide your credit card information and you just use it for 1 hour, and that's gonna cost you less than $1. So you can just do that for testing. And here we need to provide a variable, and the variable I'm gonna provide is just this variable here, and it's gonna be 1. So it's easy, and once you have done that, then click on deploy web service. And then it's gonna take a while, but we can click on this link and then we can go to our Docling UI page. It's gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna connect with you after 5 minutes. So as you can see, our web page is live. So if I click on this link, it's not gonna work. It's gonna say not found. But if I add a /UI at the end of my address, it's gonna work. And here we can click on convert file and we can select our file. I'm just gonna use the same file I used before. And here we need to change some settings. Basically, I wanna force OCR, and I'm gonna change this to placeholder, and I'm gonna change the OCR engine to this one, and for the rest we should be good. So I'm just gonna click on process file, and it's gonna take a while, but once it's done, the file is gonna be here, and I'm gonna connect with you once it's done. Okay, so the file is processed, and as you can see, we have the JSON format, we have the Markdown format, and we have the Markdown rendered format. And right now we want to achieve the same thing but inside NetN. And in order to do that, I'm basically gonna go to my NetN, I'm gonna save this thing, and I'm gonna create a new workflow. And the first thing is a trigger, and next we basically wanna connect to our web page, which is a Docling web page. So in order to do that, we need to follow the documentation for Docling. And based on Docling's documentation, in order to connect to our web page, we basically need to copy this URL right here. We need to paste it, and at the end we need to add the following. Okay, so add the following to the end of your address. And after we have done that, we do not really need to do much when it comes to the authentication, and we can just run this entire thing. But before that, we need to click on send headers and delete this, and then we want to send the body, and the body should be a JSON, and we want to use JSON. So right now we want to provide basically our Docling web page with the same exact settings I was talking about earlier. So basically, when we are uploading our information using NetN, our Docling web page is not gonna know which basic settings we are gonna use, and we need to tell it which settings to use using a JSON format. So I've already done that, and it's very simple. Don't be intimidated by these things. You can find all of them on the documentations, but I've also provided them here, so you can just copy what I have here. And also, if you don't want to copy it from my YouTube video, you can join my Discord channel linked in the description to get all these documents. But all these are basically the same settings we provided on our Docling's web page. Okay, and at the end I'm gonna give the URL, and this URL is the same URL I use to get my document, get my PDF from Supabase. As you can see, it's a Supabase link, so don't be intimidated, it's very easy. And once we have done that, we can run this step, and it's gonna take almost the same exact time it took you to basically send this information on the Docling web page. So I'm just gonna connect with you once it's over. Okay, so our file is now ready. As you can see, we can see it as a table, and we can see it as a schema, and I'm just gonna pin it here. And basically we can add it to our Supabase, and in order to do that, we need to more or less do the same thing we did earlier. So I'm just gonna copy these notes here, and I'm just gonna paste them into our new workflow. So just paste it and connect it. So basically right now all this information are gonna be sent to Supabase, and then we can retrieve them. As you can see, it's very simple, and the only step we have added into this workflow is the OCR step to basically retrieve almost all the information from our documents. And the last OCR tool we can use is Mistral OCR. And if you're using Mistral OCR, your life is way easier because you do not need to deploy anything yourself. And using the OCR is going to cost you $1 per 1000 pages. And if you want to use the annotation feature, you're going to pay $3 per 1000 pages. And basically, the annotation feature enables you to extract information from tables and graphs and basically output them as JSON and other formats. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment sections and I will be happy to help you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.